Hey, it's Trey Vittetoe, and today I want to ask you, are you making music that you're happy with and that resonates with others? And do you know who your audience is? When it comes to your music, who are you trying to please? And maybe just as important a question, who are you not trying to please? These are some questions I want to discuss today. So here we go. Trent Reznor was once asked if he thought his music might offend parents. He said he hoped so. He said he didn't make music to please someone's parents. He hoped they would be offended, or at the very least, he hoped they wouldn't get it. The idea is that every generation needs their own music, their own voice, their own rebellion. In fact, it really goes deeper. Every audience needs their own music, and what pleases one audience or one generation doesn't need to please another. Many of the greatest songs and artists in the world have alienated more people than they've pleased. So if you're looking to create a song or be the artist that wins the whole world over, maybe it's time for you to rethink the game. Pick out a few of your favorite artists and ask yourself, who hates them? How many people despise the music of that artist? If you consider that question for a moment, you'll realize that it's the most polarizing artists that seem to have true staying power. Up at the top of the heap, there are these artists that have millions of fans, true hardcore fans. And those same artists have millions of haters. Hardcore haters. And they also have tens of millions of people who are generally indifferent, or maybe they kind of like or kind of don't like the artist. So the game is never to make music that will work in some universal way for everyone. It doesn't matter whether you're creating music or a new app or some other new product. Nobody ever pleases all the people. So maybe now is the time to ask yourself, as an artist or a producer or a songwriter, are you making music that polarizes people? Are you making something that some people out there will hate? If so, maybe that's a good start. Now, is it possible to make music that everyone will hate? Maybe. But if you start by making music that resonates with you, then at least you're going to have one fan. And if you're smart, you're going to immerse yourself in the music scene that you're passionate about, so you can study those masters of that genre that already know how to resonate with that audience. But at some point, you're going to need to jump into your own territory and learn how to make music that really, really knocks some people out and really also puts some people off. And that might be true even within the given genre that you are working. So let's consider an artist that on the surface might seem to contradict what I've talked about so far. Taylor Swift. On the surface, Taylor Swift has done some things that not many artists manage to do. She started in country, became successful, and then shifted over into pop and became even more successful. It looks on the surface as if she was able to please an audience coming from two totally different places. Or in other words, she somehow built a success that wasn't audience specific or genre specific. But in reality, she did the opposite. She actually started with sort of a niche audience, a tween country pop kind of thing that really resonated with a very young audience that liked country pop music. And it could have been the case that her sound confused radio programmers who wouldn't even play her music. But fortunately for her, the songs that she released were actually well-crafted songs. They were catchy. And in that little niche audience, she took off big time and kids loved her. Her first foray into the charts was a song called Teardrops on My Guitar. I saw the title before I ever heard the song, and I hated it completely. That title represented everything I could possibly detest in a song. But then I listened to the song and I thought, well, it's a well-crafted song. It's not for me, but I give credit to the writers. I'm sure I was not alone. That title and the niche audience she was catering to probably put off a lot of people. But the song was great enough that the people who did love it really loved it completely. Instant fans. And that began to spread out far enough that Taylor Swift caught fire. She certainly amassed a massive army of haters along the way, and probably even more people that couldn't care less. But the ones that she did resonate with were hardcore devotees. I don't know if her rise could have been better calculated. Her first couple of albums strayed very little from what was working for those initial fans. Then she started her shift from country to pop, and I'm sure she lost fans along the way. But with each step, she amassed more and more fans of people who loved her and loved where she was taking them. And she also kept growing the army of haters. It's a funny thing about diehard fans. They're not just fans of a song or fans of the artist. They're fans of an idea, that thing that is hard to define, but is sort of the foundational magic behind any success. And when those fans are confronted by haters, they dig in. If you hate on their territory, it only makes them more committed. So they love the artist more, they go out and buy more songs, they buy concert tickets. Online, they will defend the indefensible. They will go to completely illogical lengths to stand up for the artist. So the haters actually benefit the artist. They keep the artist in the limelight and they solidify the artist's fan base. So thank you very much, haters. An artist that I had the good fortune of having success with was Miley Cyrus. Back then I was new to the game and I wrote a song with Gina Schock and Ted Bruner. It was a little pop rock song called Breakout. We found out in the beginning of 2008 that the song was going to go on Miley's next album. And in the months following that, things just sort of went off the rail. Miley had just turned 16, and her management was trying to brand her out of the tween market and as more of an adult artist. So all of a sudden, she was misbehaving on every turn. There were naked or semi-naked selfies. She did a photo shoot where she was in these provocative poses with her dad. She had parents of her Disney fans calling her perverse, and the Disney Channel was shutting down her show. The haters came out in droves. I thought, wow, this is going to crash and burn before I ever get a release. I called a manager friend who also worked at Miley's management firm and I said, what do you guys think about all of this? He said to me, good publicity. I thought, no way, everyone hates her. She's abandoned her core fans. The demo for Breakout was sung by our friend and then unknown artist Katy Perry. But in the months prior to release, Katy started to blow up and she had a song on the radio called I Kissed a Girl. So someone asked Katy in an interview, who do you want to kiss? And she was kind of messing around and she said, Miley Cyrus. That seemed to freak Miley out a bit, who turned around and dissed Katy Perry publicly. So Katy decided to blow it all up by taking the demo of Breakout and sending it to Perez Hilton, who put it up on his site. It got massive views. I thought, this is the end. Hollywood isn't going to release this record now that it's been all over the place with Katy Perry. But as it turned out, none of that stuff stopped the song from being released. Miley used that song for a couple of years as her opening song in her concerts. We had a lot of success with it. I had no idea at the time, but as it turns out, Breakout gave her the theme song she was looking for in her crazy transition between Disney tween star and adult artist. After Miley's VMA performance in 2013, where she basically took it as far as she could go on television, she said something very interesting right afterwards. She said, well, I guess I won't be going on the internet for a few days. She knew it was so completely polarizing. Many people said she's done. She'll never recover from that performance. And yet everyone couldn't stop talking about it. The conversation about whether it was appropriate or whether it would destroy her career went on for weeks. Truthfully, it was the backlash that took her career to a whole new level. Miley Cyrus built her career amassing tens of millions of fans, alienating parents, and offending the majority. She was a master of it, and still her core fans grew and supported her more than ever before. So I'm not suggesting that you follow the Miley Cyrus route, but it is notable that it's useful to have haters. So if you're creating music that you're getting sort of warm reviews to, but nobody's really jumping in and trying to help you find a way to take your music to the next level, maybe you're playing it too safe. And I'm not talking about publicity antics, I'm talking about the music itself. Are you staying in the safe zone? Or are you taking some chances that might actually make some people hate your music, but might also knock some people out of their chairs listening to it? I recently sat down with Dave Pensado, who's one of the mixing icons here in LA. He's mixing a song I worked on, and he brought this very topic up. He said he never aimed to please everybody. He said he always wants to create something that some people will hate and some people will be indifferent about, but that there will be a core group of people that are just completely freaked out over. So if your music is getting that kind of mixed reaction, maybe you're on to something. All right, you guys, thank you for listening. I hope I gave you some worthwhile things to think about. If I did, please like and subscribe. And I hope this makes you add some daring new flavors to your music. Until next time.